Welcome to Spelling Bee Ninja, where we dive into the exciting world of English grammar. Today, we're going to explore two very useful modal verbs, will and shall. Even though they may seem similar at first glance, they come with unique meanings and usages. Whether you're a student learning English as a second language or someone looking to refine your skills, understanding how to use these words correctly can enhance your communication. So, let's unpack the differences between will and shall and learn when to use each one effectively. To start, let's define what will and shall are. Both of these words are known as modal verbs. Modal verbs aren't the main action words in a sentence. Instead, they support the main verb by expressing possibility, intention, or obligation. While will and shall can sometimes be interchangeable in sentences, they have distinct nuances based on context and formality. Let's first examine the primary uses of will. One of will's main functions is to indicate future actions. For example, if I say, I will attend the meeting at 3 p.m., it clearly implies my future intention to be present. The tone of will is neutral and it's widely accepted in all forms of English, especially in American English. In addition to indicating future actions, will can express determination. For example, I will solve this problem no matter what, conveys a strong intent or commitment. This form of expression can be very motivational in a variety of situations. Moreover, will is commonly used for making promises or offers. A classic example is, "Don't worry, I will help you with your homework." It makes a commitment to assist someone, which can be comforting. Now, let's transition to shall. Shall can also be used to talk about the future. However, it carries a more formal and traditional tone, and is mainly utilized with the subjects I and we. For instance, when I say, we shall overcome these difficulties, it sounds more authoritative and is often reserved for serious discussions. In contrast to will, the use of shall is much less common in American English and is predominantly found in British English. Furthermore, shall often suggests obligation or a command. In legal or contractual contexts, it is often phrased as, the contractor shall complete the work by the agreed deadline. This usage clearly implies that there is an obligation to fulfill responsibilities. Another interesting aspect of shall involves making polite offers or suggestions, particularly in the form of questions. For example, asking, "Shall we go to the park this afternoon?" is viewed as a refined way to suggest plans. On the other hand, using will here, such as, "Will we go to the park this afternoon?" can sound slightly awkward or casual, lacking the level of formality that shall brings to the conversation. As we look into the modern usage of these verbs, we find that will has largely overtaken shall in everyday speech. Many people opt for will in informal situations because it is broadly understood and accepted. Confirming this shift, most native speakers will usually say, "I will call you later to discuss the details." In contrast, shall remains more common in formal communications such as legal agreements. An example being, "The parties shall adhere to the terms of the contract." Now, we have to consider that using shall in polite conversation can make a request sound more courteous. For instance, instead of saying, "Will I open the window for you?" you might say, "Shall I open the window for you?" This slight difference in wording makes the offer sound more respectful and polished, showing that you're putting the other person's needs first. It's fascinating how such subtle shifts in our language can change the tone of our message dramatically. So, when should you use will or shall? For everyday communication, opting for will tends to be safer and more versatile for most speakers. It's easily understood and fits into nearly every context you might find yourself in, whether it's casual chats with friends or more structured discussions. Conversely, saving shall for formal situations, polite inquiries, or when studying British English is a great strategy. Furthermore, if you encounter shall in historical texts or legal documents, it's essential to appreciate the connotations behind it as it expresses obligation or formal requirements. Before we wrap up, let's summarize the key distinctions between will and shall. The mood of will is neutral and appropriate for everyday use, whereas shall is formal and traditional. Will indicates future actions, determination, and promises, while shall expresses future intentions, obligations, and polite suggestions. The essential takeaway? Mastering will gives you a strong foundation for effective communication in English, but understanding shall can elevate your skills, especially in formal or polite contexts. To recap, we explored the differences between will and shall in our lesson today. Will is your go-to word for everyday situations, indicating future actions and intentions in a neutral tone. On the other hand, shall carries a formal weight, often used for polite questions or obligations, making it perfect for specific contexts like legal language or formal discussions. Remember, while understanding both words adds nuance to your English, using will generally cover your needs in most conversations. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Spelling Bee Ninja. We hope you found this exploration of will and shall enlightening and helpful for your English journey. Remember, the key to mastering any language is practice, so try incorporating these modal verbs into your daily conversations. Until next time, keep learning and practicing your English skills. Happy studying!